figure fans, it's the one and only Optiponus coming with another video review. If you're an old subscriber, thanks for coming back. If you're a new one though, welcome. Before you leave, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and bell notification so that you get instant email notifications whenever I upload a new review. And on today's episode, thanks to the support of my patron, Army Mike, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class World War II Autobot Hot Rod. For the package, much like all of them, you got that nice open window that fully showcases the figure. You got a cool CGI image of them right there. You got the Transformers text with the Generation logo. And then, of course, this is a Hot Rod from Transformers The Last Night. The side here has an up-close image of that kind of cool-looking head. I've always kind of really liked the way that looks. I do dig that. The opposite side has that same image here, but kind of pulled back, giving a full-bodied look at him. And then you come around to the back of the package. And, of course, he's big screen inspired, so this is how Hot Rod looked during World War II. Although, I'm honestly trying to remember, did he actually transform into that? It's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm going to have to double-check. Regardless, though, this is a remold and repaint of that World War II Bumblebee that we got a little bit ago. See, he transforms in 24 steps, and of course his bio says Hot Rod teams up with Bumblebee to provide serious firepower during an assault on an enemy stronghold, which was like the Nazis. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here he is, open up out of his packaging and obviously in his World War II vehicle mode. Now, I did go back and look, and yeah, Hot Rod is there with Bumblebee during that attack on that Nazi mansion. But even Bumblebee here, which I'll bring in for the full comparison in a bit, wasn't in this kind of alt mode. He was kind of like a convertible. I don't recall really seeing Hot Rod in that scene in vehicle mode. I do remember him being there, obviously, in his robot mode, and he did look armored up, so maybe he was like this. One thing that I would say is that I feel like they should have went with, because this is a Studio Series line, I feel they should have went with the main alt mode that we were used to seeing him as, and that was this. So for the comparison here he is as the Lamborghini. Really very nice. I don't have everything all like lined up proper, but I mean, pretty cool. One thing that I actually like that they carried over is, as you can see, he does have this nice glossy kind of paint on there. They carried some of that over here with like the front bit right here has a really nice glossy black paint coming across the front as well. You can see that, and then you got a couple bits here on the side which are like that. I like that they carried that over. I mean, he is a bot that does care about how he looks for the most part, and a little bit of gloss in the paint, you know, stands out pretty nicely. Now, as I said, he is a repaint and retool of Bumblebee. Vehicle mode wise here, you're not going to see really that much. Obviously, this is one of his guns. He also comes with this one here. They're plugged in a little slot right there, but you can see that the only thing really different for this is he has this long barrel gun. Hot Rod here has the time-stopping cannon. Everything else is pretty much the same from what I can mostly tell. Mine has some dust on it, so get that off there. Yeah, mold-wise, he looks pretty much the same. The only thing that's really different are these side panels. You can see that he's got these little boxes that stick out here. Bumblebee didn't have that, but everything else is exactly the same. Every bit about it, from the little flap here to the tires. So not much is different, honestly. And this bit here really isn't all that much different either. I mean, you can see that the boxes are there and they're not here, but the rest, the surrounding areas all pretty much look the same. Like this little bit right down here, that's the same on there. You got these two little square sections here. They have that there. So again, not a lot different. And that's, I mean, it is what it is. Now you can take this, you can remove this piece. Obviously, this was the other weapon that he used. And then you can, if you wanted to, close that up, hide that like so, and you can do that with Hot Rod as well. The one thing about this is his gun, you got this little sliding bit here on an angle. That's how that slides in there. So you just kind of line that up and then just slide that down. That's kind of creative. But you can't really rotate that around because his shoulder pads are a little bit bigger on this. So you can't really do that with this. You just got too much junk underneath here. Whereas Bumblebee still has it. It's just a bigger amount of junk on Hot Rod. So you're kind of left with it like that. But all in all, I mean, I like it. It's not bad. Really, I mean, like I said, it does have that look that you would kind of expect for a World War II vehicle. I don't remember seeing them like this. I definitely know that this is not the right alt mode for Bumblebee. This might be the right one for him, if that's the case, cool. But like I said, as a Studio Series figure, I feel like this should be like the definitive version of Hot Rod. And I feel like this alt mode is a little bit more along those lines. So hopefully they release that at some point in time. I haven't quite decided which one of these two I'm going to keep in my display. Maybe this one, just because I do not have him in my display, because this was a brief flashback sort of thing that, you know, it's all well and good, but this guy never made it into my display itself. Hot Rod did, and he was always in his robot mode, and the robot mode for this guy looks pretty good, whereas this is kind of just like a heavy retool of like that earlier Lockdown figure. I mean, I don't know, it's kind of tough to say, but the transformation is identical on this guy, so I am going to skip it. If you need any help with that whatsoever, I'll put a link down in the video description where you can go to my playlist for my Transformer figures and you can check out any reviews that you may have missed. But as always, using that good old-fashioned Optibotimus movie magic, we're going to go from Hot Rod looking like this to looking like this. And yeah, I really do like the way that this guy came together in his robot mode here. I think this looks great. Now, granted, there's not a lot different in terms of molding here in robot mode compared to that Bumblebee figure, but I'm still happy with it. One thing that kind of stinks is the packaging shows him having two of these. Now, I guess you could always bring in Bumblebees and use that. I mean, they are a little bit different looking, but it's kind of crappy that they show. Now, I mean, on the package portion, it did just show one gun, so it's not that big of a deal. But the artwork on the front showed him holding two. So, I guess you could always use this, but whatever. But solid, I mean, figure. Still pretty much a shell former with this piece back here. Some interesting stuff with the feet, kind of flipping around and everything. But really, that's about it. The transformation isn't anything spectacularly different, which obviously is the case. This still does not like staying tabbed in. I mean, the arms are kind of tight, so this detaches. It seems a little bit too easy, and it's kind of an annoyance, really. So I'll just fight with that another time. The head sculpt on here is terrific. Coming in to take a closer look at his belly. Let's not look at his belly. Let's come up. That is a great head sculpt. Love how that looks. But really, this right here is what we have different. The head, the chest, the torso bit right down here, and the upper part of the arms are the only thing that's different between this and that Bumblebee figure. But that head sculpt really is very, very nice. I love the green in his eyes, the silver, the orange, all look really very sharp. And then again, like I said, the chest and the torso bit are different. Bringing in Bumblebee so that you can see that. This is what I'm talking about. Obviously a different head. The chest and then the lower section here are different, and then the upper part of the arms are different. The forearms, the hands, the legs, everything else identical on it. So we do get some new parts, and obviously for the comparison, here these two guys are. And in the movie, both of them kind of look like this in robot mode, with the armor panels and everything. So it works for me. But like I said, this never really made it into my display. This might, when you compare them to the previous hot rod figure that I have in my collection, and that's this guy. And you can see there's a big size difference between them. I feel like Hot Rod should be a little bit smaller. This guy really did have long legs and just kind of benefited from that original lockdown mode, which really did extend. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I like him being as a car. The head sculpt on the new one is a lot better with the green eyes. That's a lot more movie accurate. The orange instead of the little red here is definitely more accurate. Size-wise, I just think that the new one also works a lot better. Again, it's not that this is a really bad figure. And ultimately, I do hope we get, at some point in time, a car version of Hot Rod. That's, a unique mold as opposed to being, this is just, again, another repaint and a retool. This was a repaint and a retool. So can we get, like, an original Hot Rod? I mean, I actually kind of liked him. I mean, he wasn't the Hot Rod that we grew up with as a cartoon, but I liked him. I thought he was kind of fun. Now, first articulation, the head is on the little hinge section right here. Well, actually, or is that just all big old ball joint? That's just big, huge, giant ball joint right there. Left and right kind of gets side to side a little bit, but good range of motion. The shoulders are really tight, and they always... Bumblebee's was a little bit like this as well, where you tab these arms in here, and it's kind of hard to see, but you tab these in along the side, and it doesn't really lock it in when you move things around. It's going to dislodge it, so you might as well not even attach it. But you do have a ball joint there for the shoulders. You do have a rotation at the upper part of the elbow. The elbow does bend at 90 degrees. I do wish you could get a little bit more than a 90-degree bend with it. It is what it is. The wrist, I guess, as part of the transformation, can go in and out. Get his gun out of the way. You can move that in and out. Nothing at the waist. That's... Oh, wait a minute. Wait, did I lie? Oh, my goodness. Did Bumblebee do that? Oh, I guess he did. All right, sorry. Rotation at the waist, just a little bit. It's nice that it's there. The hips here are on ball joints, forward and back, in and out. They rotate at the upper part of the thigh. Bend at the knee, nothing really at the ankle. You do have a slight wider pose with him, so you can spread his legs out to display him, but you could see it right there. He does get a little bit back heavy and has a tendency to kind of want to fall back, so you do have to be a little bit more creative with his standing and keep his legs nice and straight to kind of balance them proper. Do I recommend this guy? I mean, he is a repaint. He is a retool. He is not what I want Hot Rod to ultimately look like in my display. But is he better than this one? Yeah. I mean, granted, not the right vehicle mode. Although, like I said, I don't remember seeing him in vehicle mode anyhow. So it's definitely hard to say. Yeah, I mean, I would recommend this guy. I definitely think that he's a fun character. I enjoyed him in the film. I'm going to just stick that right there. He was a fun character in the film. It was just playful and everything. I think robot mode here, he looks pretty good. He definitely has more of that look that he had in the war scene, a whole lot more accurate looking in that scene than this guy looked in the whole rest of the movie. So there's the give and take. I mean, he looks good here. I don't recall the vehicle mode. This one's vehicle mode is pretty darn accurate. Robot mode doesn't look all that good. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I don't want to have my Hot Rod ultimately look like this, but time will tell whether or not we're going to get a decent one that I want. So I'm going to recommend them. I am going to have this version, I think, in my display. This one is going to go bye-bye. So I do recommend him. I think he's worth picking up. You might not have liked The Last Knight, so you might not want to get him. But all that being said, if this version of Hot Rod is a figure that you would like to add to your collection, he is hitting various online retailers right now, such as places like Big Bad Toy Store and Amazon. So if you'd like to pick him up, I'll put links down in the video description where you can check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformer figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Remember, if you like this video, I would really appreciate if you would do one small thing for me, and that's simply just hitting that thumbs up button. That one very small gesture really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. Again, I'd also like to send a huge shout out to my patron and friend Army Mike for helping to make this review possible. And if you'd like information on how you can become a patron and help support my channel, feel free to check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/optibotamus. And finally, remember, the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.